room on the hot seat at this hour is Francis Masinde, who is a digital systems developer, where we're talking about Guard Your Vote One-Term movement, the launches digital voting platform for 2027 flag bearer, as well as Josephat Kamanya, who is as well steering this ship with me. Francis, karibu sana, how are you?
Asante, I'm great.
How is your Friday?
Friday has just begun. We hope it's going to bring some goodies.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. This is a good place to be. I mean, you guys are doing a good job.
Asante sana. And karibu. Now, what usually happens on the hot seat where you are, right? Every other week we are in a different country. This week we are in a country that is Madagascar. So we go there, we meet with the people, we enjoy their good beaches, sit down with them, enjoy their good foods, chocolates here and there. Unfortunately, it's Friday. Chocolates are over for you. What we have for you today is the proverb, right? But one thing about Madagascar is the fact that 90% of vanilla that is consumed in the world comes from Madagascar.
90%.
90% of vanilla. So it is a vanilla country pretty much. That's what we're trying to say. And as well as 90% of wildlife that you would enjoy in the country, you can only find it there. So you think about the ring-tailed lemur. You can only find it there. And the lemur we're talking about is King Julian, penguins of Madagascar, that king. You can only see the actual King Julian in Madagascar, nowhere else.
That specific animal?
That specific animal, just in Madagascar.
Interesting.
Just in Madagascar. It does well in the country. They also have baobab trees. So there is it's called an avenue of baobab, where now it defines the country. Once you get in, that's all you see, ushering you in. But you come to Kenya, we are shipping our baobab to some other countries to help the economy. But
baobab is Mabuyu.
That one.
Yes,
Mabuyu,
the
yes.
big one, yes.
That one, yeah. Yeah. But let's go to the proverb. The proverb says, when the village sees the scholar begging and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom. How would you interpret it?
Repeat that again.
When the village sees the scholar begging and the thief riding a horse, the children begin to question the road to wisdom.
Oof. Man, that just... It's actually what is happening currently.
Where?
Man, it's what's happening, let's just say in Kenya right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, when we were growing up, man, this is going to probably be controversial.
It is what it is, you know.
You know how when we were growing up, we were told education is the key
to success.
All right?
Yes.
But now, we have quote-unquote successful people, because Kenya basically quantifies success in shillings and cents. Yeah. And basically, that's the currency of thieves. Okay. And we are now in a system of majambazi. I mean, all these quote-unquote successful people are not successful through the right channels. They are not in. We've not seen anything that they have discovered. We can't really tell the industries they're in. Yeah, we are talking. We are praising all these things, all these guys, because of all the affluence they are swimming in. I mean, the opulence that they are displaying. Yet we can't quite tell how it came about. And yet those who are busy trying to get success through the right channels, through education and, you know, working hard, men are suffering. And now the children are actually questioning. So this key that you told me, it's not really opening the doors that we all want to open. They would even question a parent like, Daddy, Mami, I honestly don't want to end up like you. I'd rather be like them. When others were grabbing land, where was your dad?
Where was your grandpa?
So this is what's happening. Yeah, this is what's happening in the country right now. I don't know about the world, but surely I live in Kenya, so that's what I see.
So you've just interpreted the proverb with the real situation that you experience every day. Well said and well interpreted. But let's go to guard your vote, right? As a systems developer and the development that has gone into technology in terms of guarding the vote, in ensuring that the election is free, fair, verifiable to all to see, so that at the end of the day we have individuals in office who rightfully went through the process and deserve to be there. What struck you to say that I want to come up with a system that will help sanctify the process?
This is the thing. You see, by the time Kenyans go to the polls on the general election to elect a leader, in most cases they are already too late. Okay. Because how did these leaders end up in this ballot paper? Were we involved in getting them there? Okay. For example, if Mr. X is the best leader we could have, and we know he can take this country to the next level, all right, and he doesn't end up in the ballot paper, then we are going to have to choose from the options that will have been available there. Now, it is important for Kenyans now to be involved in the entire process, starting with the identifying of correct leaders and the eventual processes that will lead them to actually appear on the ballot paper. Now, currently there's this debate of the flag bearer. Okay, for time immemorial, we've had politicians sit in the boardroom and purport to choose a leader for us, and they then decide who is going to end up on the ballot paper. Then when a mwananchi wakes up in the morning on the voting day, all the options you have are those that they decided. Okay? So this process does not start on the voting day. This process starts on the actual identifying of the candidate or the candidates that are going to end up there. Kenyans are woke now. Okay? So gone are the days when politicians and leaders are going to sit somewhere and purport to choose certain people for us. And we know the criteria they use is basically, it's not meritocracy. Okay? So now, in the 2027 contest, people need to understand, is defined as the Kenyan people versus William Ruto. Not politicians versus William Ruto. So it is the Kenyan people themselves who ought to identify, to vet and choose the candidate who is going to face off Ruto on their behalf.
I mean, what I'm hearing you, what I'm hearing you say is that over time, the situation has been that a few individuals will sit in a boardroom and select those that would be in these offices to oversee the day-to-day running of the country. That Kenyans have never been given an opportunity to set the agenda, to set the criteria, to set the qualifications, and to set the do's and don'ts when it comes to the election. Because at the end of the day, if at the election day, on the ballot paper, what you see is people that have been set for you on that voting day, you don't have an option at that point. That it's critical for Kenyans to be part and parcel of this process from the word go, not only during voting day.
Yes, the entire process. Yeah.
And now, Masinde, I am just wondering, we are a law-abiding country. We keep calling on upholding the rule of law. The process you have described, which the voter has abdicated, is well enshrined in our constitution. We have the IBC, which is meant to, and also the ORPP, which are like more of the regulators of this process. We also have the EACC, because for you to become an aspirant, there are some clearance agencies that exist.
Yes.
Before even the voter begins to say, you're the person now I'm going to select from the ballot. This process, the political parties have a compliance clause where they should make sure that they are only fronting aspirants that are credible and compliant with the rule of law and all the other provisions. The same then applies for the IBC, that should there be any irregularities anyhow, anywhere, they should strike this person off. The voter has an initial opportunity of screening the would-be candidate during the party primaries, the nomination process. This is where people now go for the contest, whether you are 3 of you or 4 of you going for the same position within the same party. So I find that process well anchored in our constitution. Are you saying that these organizations, these institutions, these laws are not being observed, and hence the need for now to find an, in my opinion, a secondary method or model of trying to ensure that we end up with credible candidates?
You see, the leaders who go through the party primaries are rarely the presidential candidates. Okay?
Yes.
So and we are in a very unique situation this time round. The country is interestingly unified against one specific individual who's seeking re-election. Okay? So it behooves the entire country to ensure that whoever is going to emerge the one to represent the people has the collective buy-in of the people. Okay? Now, these presidential candidates have kind of protected themselves in their cocoons called political parties. All right? Where they are the be-all and end-all. All right? If I am the party leader, I'm not going to be subjected through a nomination. It is the rest of you.
It's a direct ticket for you.
It's the rest of you. And now, as you try to understand me, I don't so much have an issue with the governors, senators, women reps, MPs, and MCAs. The crucial seat right now is the head of state. And that is the person we are trying to replace. And for us to identify a candidate to be able to replace this guy, all hands have to be on deck.
Right.
Yeah. I would want actually to subject, my idea would be to subject all these individuals who've offered themselves through a nomination that requires the public to have their say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is actually why we came up with this platform. Yeah. It's called the One-Term Digital Election System. You can find it on onetermcandidate.com, where now all Kenyans can come and give their say on whom they believe would represent them well.
So the focus is on the presidential vote.
On the presidential vote.
So how
I agree with you on the other processes.
Yeah.
You know, the ORPPs, the political parties, and all this, and then the primary and the nomination and all that. But right now, Kenyans are more interested on how do we stop the plundering of resources in this country, which can only be done by ensuring we replace who is the head.
But Masinde, even as you talk about the plundering of the resources, right? The other agencies as well, or the other elective positions as well, are equally critical. Why do I say that? Because you look at, if we had a parliament that was doing its job, the plundering that we talk about would not be happening because oversight would happen. Right? Now, if we had a judiciary or the ORPP, or we had an EACC that is clearing individuals, and individuals who end up at the ballot are people who deserve to be there, we would not be in the mess that we are in today. That today, the parliament has abdicated its role. It has allowed to be captured. Senate as well. You look at the members of county assembly, they're not doing their jobs at the grassroots level. So one would then ask the question, why don't we just take the system, whilst it is looking at the presidential vote and the decision to sort that. If we sort every other election positions that do exist, then we have a model country that respects the law, individuals who are in office who know exactly what they're supposed to do and get to do it. Because I refuse to agree that people who are in these election positions today do not know what they're supposed to do. They have just chosen not to.
You're right. And the system, the onetermcandidate.com, takes care of all positions, from MCA up to the presidential. We just have to go into phases.
Yeah.
Right now, starting tomorrow, the people will be going to the site to actually have their say on whom they believe should be the presidential candidate for Kenyans. Yeah, for Kenyans. This is not affiliated to any political party.
Right.
This has not been sanctioned by any so-called opposition member. This is a Kenyan initiative. So Kenyans will head on to onetermcandidate.com to pick who they believe should be their candidate. And then after the first vote, which is tomorrow, 25th and 26th, then we will get the top 5, because currently there are 16 candidates who are
just for the record, it's happening tomorrow.
It's happening from tomorrow. What do you call it? From 6 a.m. tomorrow,
Saturday,
and it closes 6 p.m. on Sunday, on 26th. That is the first vote. Currently there are 16 candidates. From then we will narrow them down to 5.
So how is it supposed to, just to take the would-be participants through? How is it supposed to work? How have you organized it? How have you populated it for people to participate?
I don't know if I'm understanding.
Is it an app? How do if I want to vote, where do I go?
You go to your browser.
Is it a link?
Yeah,
is it a browser?
It's onetermcandidate.com.
Okay.
First, you have to register yourself. Yeah. We need to know your details. We need to know which county you come from, which constituency you come from, which ward you come from. And the reason why we are taking these details, and people have really asked, is because for so long, the political class have always relied on what we call opinion polls.
Yeah,
and Kenyans are always complaining, who are these people who are giving these opinions? Me, I've never been asked these questions by any pollster.
Neither have I.
I don't know anybody who's ever been asked. So they just show up with results, and then they say, this person is ahead, this person is leading. From where and since when? I didn't give this opinion. So now, for us to be able to know where this opinion is coming from, this is coming from real people. This is Gadoni, who's coming from this county, this ward, this constituency. And then you have to put in your ID number there. Simply because after you've registered, we are going to have to go through a voter verification process. It's honestly, what we've designed is basically IEBC on steroids. It's just that we do not have the mandate to run elections. So now, all these details will be able to ensure that we don't have, you cannot vote more than once. We ensure that there are no bots that are voting, to ensure that it is as credible as it can be. So that's the process. You go there, you register yourself, and then now after you've registered yourself, then you enter the booth. There is a digital booth. Right. So on the 25th, which is tomorrow, 6 in the morning, right now, if you enter the booth, you will see there is a timer. It's telling you how many hours left before now it goes. So when you go to the booth, 6 in the morning, all the names of the candidates will load up, and then now it's up to you to select. You're selecting your flag bearer, you select your running mate, and then you submit these votes. Now the results are instant. It's like a calculator. 1 plus 1, the calculator will not tell you I'm tallying. It will not tell you give me some time. It will give you the answer.
Are the running mates still part of the one of the 16? Or
yes.
This is
you see how the system is designed. The 16 candidates are the options for the flag bearer.
Right.
The same 16 candidates are still the options for the running. Because Kenyans sometimes might prefer. Let me use an example of a candidate. Let's say Sifuna, for example. Someone can say, okay, fine, I prefer Sifuna more of a running mate rather than a flag bearer. You see, so he might choose somebody else, let's say maybe Wajakoya, and then he says, I want Sifuna to deputize him. Another Kenyan will be like, no, I feel like Sifuna should be president, and then Wajakoya should be deputy. So you should have the both names there so that they can be able to choose for themselves. It's not biased.
All right.
The system will not allow you, obviously, I mean, for someone to deputize himself. If you choose Wajakoya president or Wajakoya deputy, it will tell you no, that's not possible. He cannot try again.
You mentioned verification, so you have a database, so you be verifying.
No, you see now, the people who voluntarily give us this detail, we are not, we don't, it would be against the law to take the database without their consent and slip it in our system. So we want people to voluntarily opt themselves in, okay? So that we now create this database.
You know, Masinde, what this then brings forth, especially in an electioneering period, is an election that is owned by the people.
Yes.
Is an election that is people-centric. It is not an election that is determined in a boardroom and that the people only come in at the last point where they have no say on who should sit there.
Yes.
Where they have no say on the qualification or some of the gatekeeping that needs to be done to ensure that people who end up in elective positions are people who will deliver to Kenyans.
Yet, yes,
we look at the Constitution of Kenya, and public participation is so central because people must be included in these processes, whether it is IEBC and how it's clearing, whether it is ORPP giving decisions as to why it cleared Masinde to run. All these informations need to be given to Kenyans, yet we are not seeing that. So with the system that you have created, what is the end goal? Where do we take that information? Who do we share it with? And how do we make so much noise for it to make sense to IEBC, who have the constitutional powers to hold the election?
You see, the IEBC and institutions that are well anchored in the Constitution are supposed to cater for all Kenyans. And you know, as Kenyans, we come from different backgrounds. I mean, people think differently, and it's supposed to accommodate every view of every Kenyan. So it's going to, you know, and they say the best would be to make sure the weakest link is taken care of, and then the rest will actually be taken care of. So the standards can somewhat end up being compromised in our institutional organs simply because they have to accommodate even the weakest of our people. But then again, it is up to us as Kenyans to set these standards very high, so that once we have taken them through this funnel, we are more likely to end up with people who are actually going to be great leaders once they get to IEBC. Let us sieve them first, so that by the time they are getting to be cleared by what I would call a more tolerable or how can I call it, like a weak system, then let the weak system allow the strongest person in, as opposed to the weak system allowing the weak person in.
So just coming off the World Cup spirit, so you're setting up a friendly match for the people to show up and decide in sort of a preliminary kind of engagement with these aspirants and see whom would you prefer to have as the flag bearer against this regime where everybody is saying must go.
Yes.
Now, sometimes I wonder on a different dimension that we think the voter is so inadequate and so incapacitated that they cannot make that decision independently. That the voter has not suffered enough, because the people who are saying must go, one term, Zakayo Ashuke, Tawe, all these many movements we've had, which are about 9, is the voter. The assumption is that people have suffered enough to make a sound decision this time around. Are you convinced?
They've suffered enough to make
a sound decision this time around without depending on this so-called, it keeps changing formation. It was United Opposition, it was the alternative government, it was the coalition of the deputies, without depending on any political legacy politician to sit around in a boardroom and say, this is the person we want. Turn the people out of their own volition, out of the pain points that we are going through today as Kenyans. Just snap to the reality that the vote you hold as an individual is what collectively, with mine and Dennis and everybody else, will determine the next 5 years of our lives.
The people already demonstrated that in 2024.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
Before 2024, majority of Kenyans didn't even know what finance bill was. All right? And they didn't even use the vote. Yeah? They just went to the streets.
Yes.
Yep.
And at first, I'm sure the establishment believed that nothing would come out of this. They believe that the Mwananchi are so incapacitated to be able to make a decision as powerful as this. And look at what they achieved. The finance bill had to be sent back.
Yep.
You see? So it started in 2024. And it's not even the older folk who did it.
Right.
It's our young guys who went and did that. So we are in a totally different political era. The era of Sijui, all these things that you've mentioned, ilisha 2024. Now it is totally different. The people are going to decide. You call it friendly match. It is not that friendly. Because in battle they also say friendly fire also kills.
Yeah, true.
Okay? So it's not so friendly because whatever the people will decide will be. Yeah? I know we've faced some very huge resistance from the legacy politicians.
Right.
Simply because, it's understandable. Yeah? Change is very difficult to accommodate as it comes. Yeah? So it is understandable because they are hell-bent on still locking themselves in a pantry. Yeah? To decide on who is going to be the president for us. I don't know why they've not learned from 2024. But that is not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if you force it, you run the risk of your candidate being rejected by the people. Now, this is the question I asked them. If you trust the very people to make that decision on the voting day in 2027,
Right.
why don't you trust the same people to advise you on this is actually the way you should go? Because you'll depend on them on their vote in the election day. So it behooves them to just involve the Kenyan people, public participation, as you had said, in the process of selecting.
System then is meant to change things on how Kenyans will have a voice come this election. But as we talk about the system, one thing that you can't run away from is the safety of the system. And
Yes.
with that, then one asks the question, which are some of the parameters that you've put in place to ensure that the system is not compromised? Because remember, even in the previous elections, there have been the Jose Camagos,
Camargo,
who
yes,
exist.
in the house.
This system is somewhere in the cloud, maybe in Anyashewa Uko,
Yes.
it gets compromised, right?
Servers were not open.
Were not opened as well. What are some of the safety parameters that are there to assure Kenyans that this system can withstand any challenge and guarantees you actual results as given by the people?
Number one, we have put a multiple layered set of securities, digital securities. And as we speak, Dennis, we've been hacked. As of Wednesday last week, it was about 4,800 times. This morning it's about 1,200 times. Yeah, but luckily our system is so robust. They keep failing, these hackers. I don't know who is doing this. I don't know if it's the government. I don't know if it's our own politicians themselves, because they try to put their best foot forward one way or another. But it is a very secure system. I know the politicians have expressed concerns. They keep saying that the two-termists are going to infiltrate the system so that they make sure a weak candidate wins. Yeah, and that is not.
Is there a way of detecting and stopping that? Not really.
You see, this is a public participation system. You cannot stop any Kenyan from participating, and there is no tool or instrument, medical or otherwise, that has been devised to test if you are one term or two term. Okay. So every Kenyan is free to come and participate in this process. Go there and select who you believe should fight on your behalf in 2027. There is no one term, two term person here. Yeah, let everyone come and say who they want to be the flag bearer of the one term movement. Also, there is what I had said earlier. There's all these details from the voters themselves. Yeah, these are Kenyans who are going to participate. This system can accommodate millions of voters at a go. Because we were so concerned whether it will crash, but we have made sure that it wouldn't. And we did this because the traditional pollsters, they normally use, according to what I've heard, they normally use a sample size of about 2,000 people. And we've made sure that this system can accommodate up to the millions of Kenyans to come and cast their vote and say who they would want to be their flag bearer. And surely, if you can try and generate a narrative because of 2,000 people, I mean, surely I would really trust a narrative that has been supported by millions of Kenyans, because that would paint for you the true picture of what Kenya is really saying on who should lead them. So we have really made sure that this system is secure. We are iterating it as we go, because we are facing a lot of attacks, but so far we have fended all of them, and the system is still stable.
That's good.
Yes.
Now, what did you say the link is?
onetermcandidate.com.
Yes, because people need to go there.
You want to get into that?
Yes. One-term candidate?
onetermcandidate.com. The one term is WANTAM.
Okay.
Candidate.com.
Okay.
Onetermcandidate.com.
Yes, I found
Yes.
it. Now,
Yes.
even as we go deeper into it and hopefully start voting from tomorrow, from the criteria, the 16, you say there are 16 candidates now.
Yes.
Is there a description of what they stand for, or is it just their names as we know them?
These are the Kenyans who have offered themselves for this.
Right.
You can't force it on anybody. These are the ones who have actually declared that they want to run
Yes,
for
yes,
this
yes.
seat.
Yeah.
We cannot just get somebody from his comfort of his houses to just put them in the system.
Yeah.
But these are the people who
Have expressed
offered
interest
themselves,
that they
and there are
want to
16
buy.
of them. They are going to be loaded on the digital ballot paper that you will see on your booth once you enter.
Once
the
you
booth.
enter there.
Yes.
Is there an opportunity for me to know more about this particular candidate before I vote? Like maybe their service history, somebody has been in politics not for 50 but 40 years, someone has never ran for office. Is there any description for me to get to know the candidate more if I'm not fully familiar with all of them?
At the first vote, we believe that these candidates have done some fairly enough running around in the country to at least it's up to them to introduce themselves to people. I mean, if Kenyans go into the booth and they find the name of someone whom they don't know about, then obviously they will not pick that person, and it will not be up to it will not be the Kenyans' fault. It will be the candidate's fault because he has not introduced himself to the Kenyans. But what we are trying to do with this thing, once we do the first vote, which starts tomorrow and Sunday, then we will be able to know who emerges victorious, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
And then we are going to call them for a one-term flag bearer debate. Then now we will start to know what next after one term. What next after saying Ruto must go?
Yes.
We now need to know, are these people going to take us anywhere? Or is it just another political gimmick that we're dealing with here? Now, people are saying, okay, will they come? Well, we cannot force it on them. They might not come, but why would you pass up a chance to talk to Kenyans about what you want to do for them and you really want to run in this election? So now that after that debate, then we are going to subject them to a final round through the same system. Those 5 people who will have...
After we hear them, after they show up.
Yes, now the Kenyan now will be able to use their discernment and say, okay, fine, I remember the first time I voted for this guy. Now I think I'm changing my mind to this guy. See, these are the processes we need to go through as a country for us to eventually get the leaders that we really require in this country.
Masinde, what I'm hearing as well through this conversation is the system seeks to take the country away from traditional campaigning that we have seen. Why? Because every other time it is, I'll show up at 2 p.m. I'll just say, my lorry is here with the sound system. I want to address the people, and you'll find the people. But here we're talking about a system that allows everybody to come on board and say your intention. And after the intention, you then proceed further to convince the people within the system as to why they should vote for you. Because then through that, we can see the changes with regard to what Kenyans have decided and why they are moving away from candidate X to candidate Y. Because for a very long time, the question that has remained in my mind rather for a very long time is, in all these political rallies that Kenyans do attend, that we go to, What usually is the message? Because there is nothing mind-boggling. It does not scratch your brain to what someone wants to deliver to you. They become rile up emotions. Unajua hawa majamaa walituibia and everything else. Lakini ni one time ama ni two time watatupiga. That's all we hear. But in terms of, I want to build this hospital using these funds to address a certain problem. We never get to hear that. But in a structured manner where Kenyans can listen to your ideologies, what you stand for, your history, your background, how you made your money. Kenyans can then sieve the chaff from the wheat. From the wheat.
You know, it's so funny, Dennis. There's a by-election some time back where a certain team won, and the only punchline I used to hear was wewe.
Yeah.
Wewe nitakuaibisha.
Yeah.
Wewe nitakutoa nguo. And people voted based on that.
Yeah.
You see, so now we have to do better as a country.
Right.
We have to do better as a country. So this system, basically, this phase one is just to try and narrow down the number
to filter
to filter the number based on what has been going around.
Yes,
it's basically just sloganeering. Mimi ni so and so.
Yes.
Tutafanya hivi. Tutakimbiza mtu kama baiskeli ya kuibiwa. All this. So we'll filter using that. There are those candidates who've just been silent. And I mean, I feel for them because I don't think you should at least say something, make people know that you exist. And then now, once we get into a debate, now we'll now be able to separate the wheat from the chaff. And then now people will have a more informed approach when they are doing the second round. And then we will also now, the third is when now we will do all other candidates, the MCAs, the MPs, the women reps, and all that, because we also need to know who these people are.
So, and I think this one, it is commendable. It's a great initiative, I must say, because people need to remain woke, and we also need to acknowledge that it is not public participation. It is civic duty. For you as a Kenyan. You're not being involved in a process that you're independent from. Public participation is like, guys, you come, say, decide, then us, we go do. This is you come, see, say, and do. As the voter, this is civic duty, your obligation to participate, to involve yourself and commit yourself to a process that is going to decide how your taxes are going to be plundered. Because we said plundering is the theme. Now,
come on, we don't want our resources to be plundered.
So if you don't want them to be plundered, come out, go to this one-term movement,
onetermcandidate.com
and start rehearsals, because we're only a year and a week away from the actual ballot. So people need to show up, and indeed, I would encourage everybody to just express your voice. This is your right. This is your civic obligation and duty. But now, this is coined as a one-term movement.
Yes.
Meaning it is all system go towards the outgoing president, William Ruto. Right? So is he on the ballot?
No, because
okay.
William Ruto is on the other side of one term. And he's the only candidate.
Okay.
They don't have to go through any form of contestation on who we should be the candidate. They already have a candidate, and it is Ruto. It is this other one-term side that we need to organize ourselves. This is now the Kenyan side. You are either on the side
people.
of the Kenyans or the side of Ruto.
It's either with us.
That's how. So on the side of Kenyans, it is indeed the Kenyans who should be on the forefront to organize themselves, not the politicians. We should be organizing the politicians because they are going to be working for us. They are going to be representing us.
Yes.
We are sending them to war to fight on our behalf. So it is up to us to choose the best warrior to go and fight for us. Warriors themselves can't sit and say and decide for themselves. No, we are the ones who are going to decide who is going to fight on our behalf.
It would appear you're going to save a lot of people a lot of money, because people are already planning on how to campaign. Other than IBC, which has what 61 billion?
Yes.
And we don't see much of civic education from that. But now, with what you're doing, how capital intensive is this? How sustainable is it?
It is quite capital intensive, but we are also in the era of technology,
right.
AI and all these things. So it has kind of made it somewhat manageable. it is a very costly affair, I must admit, and that is why even in the registration process, there's a bit of a cost element.
Because there are many who are actually
asking how much.
Because
how much is that if I was to fully participate?
What we are doing, it has to be understood very well. You
Right.
see, we are not just selecting a flag bearer.
Okay.
We are also forming a team that will ensure the flag bearer we decide on is going to win. We are not just going to choose a flag bearer. Dennis, okay, fine, we've chosen Dennis as the flag bearer, and then we go and sleep at home. Then he goes to fight on his own. No. He needs a team around him. He's going to need ward coordinators to coordinate the wards where he's going to go. We are going to need constituency coordinators, county coordinators. We are going to need agents. You're going to need people on your call centers. So this team, it needs concerted effort. So we need to organize this team together, and it takes a lot of resources. So
Right.
we've put a cost to it. To be a member is I think 100 bob. To be a
Ward
ward coordinator is 250. Things like that. Now this
500,
not only goes to manage the team, it also goes to make sure that, because we have a team that is manning the system as we speak. I'm telling you, we are being there's hacking attempts every day. It is not cheap. So we are really, in a way, we are asking, this is a Kenyan funded initiative. Remember, even IBC costs billions of shillings
61.1 actually.
And we have run this would be the most secure citizen initiative done, I think, in the history of this country. And it's not going to take one person to do it.
Masinde, as we talk about this system, what this informs as well is fact that campaign financing then would be spearheaded by the people.
Yes.
Because through registration, that is donation to what would be campaigns and pretty much handling the elections, you know. And that as well would come to address the problem that Kenyans have been talking about, where now you're being told as a president it's been capped at 4 billion shillings. Now, with 4 billion shillings, we need to be told what is the source of your funds? Where is it coming from? From what bank account did you withdraw it? How did you make that money?
Yes.
But if it's through this process where one can say, through my platform, this is the much Kenyans contributed towards this formation to go towards campaigning. It's easy to trace that and deal with the problem of money laundering, corruption that is in there, and also source of funds that we do not know where it did come from. I mean, that changes the game for many out here, because then on the table, everybody will stand behind their source of funds.
Also, Dennis, you need to be very wary of things that are free. If we were running such a system and it's entirely free, someone somewhere is paying for it. Okay, and that's where those questions like who is really funding you? Because we know to build this system is not free. Someone somewhere is paying you. And there was, I think a week ago or a few days ago, I saw something going on the social media, almost something similar, where you are voting, and it's like that. So someone somewhere is paying for it. Someone. So this is what we are trying to run away from. And I've been telling these politicians, why fake polls? Because the truth will be seen at the general elections. Why do you want to take yourself down the road of depression when you know yourself, you are lying to yourself that you are ahead when you know you're not? Let us just hear what the Kenyans have to say. If it is not you, just take it as it is, then just join the team and let us clap for the other person and make sure he gets to that position. Again, as we are building the team, once I select the flag bearer on this system, it is upon me to join the team and to ensure that this person has the highest chance of winning, because we are in a battle here to change our country, so we don't have protests like we did, which ends up burning the parliament and making us looking bad in the global stage.
But then again, sorry Kamanya, sorry. You see, with all this, as great as it looks, data protection is a concern.
Indeed.
Data security is a concern, because here then you ask for someone's phone number, you ask for their ID, and with that then one is asking the question, why do you need this information, number one? Number two, how do you store it, and after how long do you get rid of it?
This data is for security purposes for the system.
Okay.
to also make sure that the results that this system is going to produce is credible. Because people are going to ask you, I mean, there's someone who will win in this system and someone who will lose.
Yes.
Most likely the person who will lose will tell me, okay, fine.
I don't trust the system.
I don't trust the system. Who are these people who voted? Is it bots who voted? The Kenyans themselves will prove, they will tell you that I voted, I put in my details in there. Yeah. I was prompted by M-Pesa to pay my membership fee on this. I paid. See, so the Kenyans themselves will be able to defend the process. Now, about what did you say? Data protection. This data protection now is a law, and we are not selling this data. We are not. I don't know what else we will do with the data. I mean, we're not selling this data.
Yeah.
What also this data helps us know. For example, if Dennis, you are one of the candidates in there, after the vote, and say you are the winner of this process, we should be able to come and tell you, Dennis, general election is coming, and from this system we are able to know that in the Coast Province you're not doing so well. Yeah, in Nyanza you are doing fine, and that's okay. So you need to go and campaign there. You need to pull up your socks there. It gives us, it will help us help the flag bearer of our choice have an even better chance come general election. We will be able to advise you on how to move around your campaign as yourself and your team, and also us as the team who have actually joined to form the team that we were forming in the registration process. So this data helps us map out where you are strong, where you are weak, because as you have seen, if you've said you come from such and such a ward and you vote a particular way, then we will know this person is either weak there or strong there. Remember, the goal of this is to be able to defeat Ruto. And for that to happen, we have to get the best candidate and also be able to have the tools to sharpen this flag bearer so that his chances of winning are at their highest. So people should feel secure with their data. We are not selling their data. And as Francis Masinde, the developer of the system, together with an entire team, I am putting my name and my face out there. Should anything happen to your data, I should be the one to be held responsible.
Kamanya, as wind up.
Yeah, as you wind up. So, I mean, it's good to hear that there is little to no room for improper influence, as IBC would refer to it. And I hope the best or the most preferred candidate is the one who comes out in top and informs the decision for the Kenyans. Yes. But do you have agents who are populating the link? How are you going to get more people to know about this who have not heard about it this morning and yet they need to start voting tomorrow morning?
Yes, we've really done our best. You guys are in the media. You know how media is, how expensive media is. We've done, and this is, we are not, if we were being funded by other people, there would be signs. So we've really tried our best to be on various media platforms. We are on social medias. We did a launch on the 14th. We called a stakeholders meeting on the 22nd, even though the legacy politicians shied away from coming. And we've done our best to make sure that as many Kenyans as possible know about this process that begins tomorrow.
Yeah, so, it's a great conversation to have in terms of, as we approach the 2027 general election, a decision and a possibility of Kenyans to make a decision that will befit them and them to be part and parcel of this process. Francis Masinde, digital system developer, asante sana for making time. And it's a conversation definitely that must continue as we get closer to 2027 general election. You say it is how many Sundays remaining? 53 Sundays to go, and Kenyans, an opportunity for you to get out there and make that decision.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.